Hey everyone, it's Michael here with Home Health Success Academy and 10xpatientreferrals.com, and welcome to another one of our business podcasts over here at Home Health Success Academy. And our main goal is to be able to, show you guys and share with you interviews as well as conversations we have with a variety of different people, from owners of agencies who is currently existing or they're starting to create an agency. We're going to be speaking to marketers, and at the very same time as we're going to be talking to some of the individuals out there that provide support for agencies, from softwares as well as client support and marketing people. Okay, so in this episode, it's pretty much a talk with one of the marketers out there who's having some questions. And the main goal here is to be able to share with you guys that more likely you're probably having the same problems that some of these marketers are also facing. So our main goal here is to share the information, and maybe that you guys can get some, tips and tricks on some of the conversations that we are having at this very moment. Just to let you know, this podcast is brought to you by a medication reminder program, giving you the one up from the competition. If you provide a medication reminder program for your services, it's going to be able to make you stand out and get you more referrals. Also brought to you by HomeCareAnsweringService.com, which takes care of all your answering for your home care services, home health agency, and hospice 24/7, 365 days out of the year, and even during the holidays. So let us handle all your phone calls, even those late night calls, and stop missing those calls. And of course, 10xpatientreferrals.com provides you all the training you need to be able to be great at marketing your home health, home care, and hospice services. So let's go ahead and get started with this podcast. On the bottom left.
Got it. I can
Awesome,
hear.
awesome.
Sorry.
Perfect. So, all right, hold on a second here. So, how's your day? Busy day?
Yes, it was a busy day.
Awesome. Okay, that's perfectly fine. So, when's the meeting that you have?
We have it on the 29th on Tuesday.
29th on Tuesday. Okay. Is it just going to be you, or is it going to be with other people?
It's going to be me and the owner of the home health
Okay.
and the hospice. He owns the home health and hospice, and then the DON.
Got it. Okay. So there's gonna be three of you guys. Who's gonna be leading the whole, the whole presentation?
I would say she's going to be leading it, but I also have other places that I go and then I follow up and things like
Okay.
that. So that's why I wanted to learn myself.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna teach you, but then the problem is when they do the presentation. Have you ever been with them in a presentation before? That's a good answer. That's a good question to ask.
I have, and I'm not very impressed with it, to be honest. That's why I decided that I would kind of venture um, to
Okay.
learn more, because I don't. I mean, the DON, she's good, but I don't think she doesn't bring too much to the table.
Well, the big problems with director of nursings is that they're clinicians first, and
Uh-huh.
they never really were into the whole marketing part.
Uh-huh.
For me, for example, I'm a nurse by trade, so I know the feel of being a director of nursing or becoming an administrator,
Mhm.
but you have to be able to kind of separate yourself from being the clinical part and being the marketer or the sales section of things. So let's just go from the beginning. Of course, you've been with home care for a while, so you're good with the non-medical. You've been doing that for a while.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So you have a lot of referrals from that already, but now you're trying to add a pipeline within, since you're already going into those facilities. You're like, why don't I help other facilities to make more money and double my paycheck, right?
Right. Right.
So totally respect it. Trust me, you know, respecting that's a good thing, because why waste your time, right? And you
Right.
can solve three problems:
Right.
hospital, home health, and home care.
Right.
So you want to become that. Your referral sources right now for your home care, where are they coming from?
They're coming from geriatric doctors, and also in
Nice.
um, yeah. So a lot of them are geriatric specialists.
Are you getting referrals from them now for home health?
Well, I just started, so see, this is kind of what I want.
Got it.
I
How
want to
many
kind
days
of
have
go.
you started? How many days has it been?
I've only been doing this for a month.
Okay. The home
So
health, right?
the home health, yeah.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
so I already know that they trust because I'm taking the home health to the doctors that I work with.
Awesome.
So, but I don't want them for me to look kind of stupid, like not knowing even what it's all about.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to look because they already know I'm professional, and that's why they're allowing them to come in
Yeah.
because of. And so, but I also want to kind of say like, look, this is why I'm working with this company.
But you can also mess it up by bringing them in if they're not good at, if they don't have
They
a good.
are. I mean, they're good as what caring for the patient. They
Yes.
are. They're. That's
But
why I use them.
but there's that disconnect for that. So, you want to also analyze, are they good being in front of the physicians, right?
I know that's the thing. And
Because
so,
if that's going to be a problem, I will tell them, you guys can't come with me.
uh,
I'm going to go in there and try to just tell them the new services that I'm offering, that I'm working with another company. Because you don't,
yeah,
sometimes there are times where like for example, for me, when I'm marketing and then I'm starting to see static with a physician after I've been following up with them, like maybe I've been there, 8 weeks in a row, and I'm
mhm,
not getting any traction,
mhm,
something's wrong there. And when I start feeling that, I'll call one of my marketers and say, hey, I want you to go in. And maybe it's me. Maybe there's something about me that they don't like. Because when we market out there, within that first 10 seconds they see us, they already made a decision if they like us or not. It's like
right.
so, we just have to really play the game the right way. So um, if you have a relationship already with these physicians, then you should be able to just push them forward to home health,
Well,
right?
I did. Like today, I went with one of the doctors. I dropped off
Mhm.
some chocolate, as a trick or treat kind of,
Mhm.
Halloween
Yeah,
kind of treat for the Friday. And so I went there, and so he said they actually faxed over a referral to the agency for hospice.
perfect.
Um,
Are you getting paid like for, do you have a base salary with them, and then they give you every 5 patients, 10 patients? How are they structuring?
no, they don't do that. It's just more of a liaison kind of. And the only reason why I accepted is because I'm thinking of opening my own hospice and home health. So I kind of wanted to get in there and kind of see what it's all about and learn the ins and out and the back of it. And
Now's the time to get into it. I own a couple agencies myself, a couple home health. I never got into hospice, and that's just because of personal reasons. Um,
uh-huh.
but I also have home care as well, so it's a good time to get into it. So, all right, so you know, the thing though is, let's work with you, right? I
Okay.
can't work with your DON.
Yeah, this is about me.
So, and let's talk about getting to, because if you have a relationship with a physician, those are easy to convert,
Yes, I know.
right? We're talking
Mhm.
about the newer facilities,
Right. Mhm.
going after the nursing homes, going after the other physicians that we can try to
Going to the hospitals and things like that.
hospitals. Yes, yes. So the main thing is that, so I'm gonna switch over to my screen, okay? So that you can see the basics. And you already got these flyers, but I'm sure you got all these pages, and you're like, oh my god, too much information, right?
Right. No, actually, I liked a lot of the information. I thought it was
Okay,
really
perfect,
cool.
perfect. So I'm just gonna share my screen really fast, right? So pretty much, if we're looking at this, right,
Mhm.
we're going to get rejected by any new place everywhere, from prospecting, greeting, qualifying, presentation, proposal, close, and follow-up, right?
Okay.
This is what we call pretty much your full sales process. Your prospecting is when you're
Well,
trying to,
it's not showing anything. It's just showing like a mountain.
it's, oh, just a mountain?
Yeah.
How about that?
No.
No. Hold on a second here. Here, let me do this. Is it showing this? Is it showing it now?
No, it's just showing your I
Okay.
think it's screensaver.
I'm just gonna go ahead and stop the part, right? So that's perfectly fine. But what I'm gonna do is just seriously just go at it and just like talk about it, right? So since it's not showing, we're just having like little basic technical difficulties. So when you have your prospecting, I don't think you have any problems with that, because you obviously got to the home care part, so you know how to look for the potential referral sources.
Mhm.
I think that your main problem maybe is just in the presentation, making a nicer presentation, and then
Well,
the
kind of like bringing in like how you said like a script, but like kind of narrowing it down instead of being so repetitive of what they hear all the time.
yeah. So this is what I do.
Hold,
It's
hold on.
pretty. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, so when I finally get into a meeting, what happens is we'll walk in and they'll say, okay, fine, let's have the quick meeting. Walk in there. The first thing I'm going to go at the moment we sit down, I'm like, hey, doctor, the reason for me being here is to try to be able to see if we can take care and help you with some of your patients. And people sometimes are a little too aggressive and they say, I'm here because I want you to refer patients to me.
Right. I don't ever do that.
And we want to be able to say, it's the same thing. We're helping, we're going to take care of them, but I'm not being aggressive yet.
Right.
The aggressiveness happens and starts showing in the follow-up. Because, since you've been doing the home care for a while, I don't think have you ever had a referral the very first day you walk in with them?
No.
Very rare. It's like if you're showing up nonstop, that's where the the whole thing happens. And some people might think that you're aggressive because you're literally coming back there every single week or every 2 weeks or every month. So when we finally sit down, typically when a doctor or social worker agrees to us to say, yeah, tell me about, sure, come on, do your presentation. And they're going to tell you, all right, tell me about your company. Right. So if I say that to you, I'm the physician, for example, right now, and I say, yeah, you know what, tell me about your company. How would you respond to that?
That's the problem that I have. Like, some home health have such a variety of things. So how do you narrow it down to, like, because they've heard it all. I mean, all the home health do the same thing.
Yeah, they're going to be like, hi, hey, doctor, we're a home health agency. We're Medicare certified. We accept Medicaid. We take insurance, these following insurances. And, we provide skilled nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy, medical social worker, home health aides, and we can even send, labs to the patient's homes. And we provide quality care. We have 24-hour on-call service because we want to take care of our patients.
Right.
That's what everybody's going to say.
Right.
And we're not going to say that.
Right. And that's what I want. I want a different, explanation of the benefits of home health.
Yeah, because these physicians, they're what they're going to do really is they're going to be like, all right, get on with your presentation so I can get you.
Right.
Right. So what you have to do is two things, right? What is their buying criteria? Right. Hey, doctor, before I tell you more about my company, I know, of course, you work with a lot of patients already, and I know you work with other home health agencies. What are 3 things that made you choose to work with those agencies?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, if you ask that question, what ends up happening is the doctor is going to give you the 3 things that he wants from an agency automatically. Now you know what you really need to talk about. Right? If he says something, for example, good communication, accept certain insurances, right? And we'll just say good staff. Okay. So if he says those things, you just have to remember those, right? And you're going to say, that's great, doctor. It's really good to work with an agency that provides, and you mentioned all 3. The reason why I'm going to re-mention what he said or she said is because I want her or him to know that I'm listening. Perfect. Thank you for sharing that with me, doctor. Now, if you don't mind me asking, if the agencies you're working with right now can improve on something, what would those 3 things be? Right? A lot of marketers sometimes will trash talk the current agencies. And you can't go negative. Never go negative. Right? But that's what I'm doing. What are the 3 things that they can improve on? That means what are the 3 things that they're making mistakes on? But I'm just changing the words.
Wording where you're not insulting, you're just
exactly. So I'm gonna say, hey, doctor, if there are 3 things they can improve on, right? And then so that allows the doctor not to feel bad because if you say what are they doing wrong, that's you saying, doctor, you made the wrong decision to work with them, so it's your fault, right? Right. So if we say it that way, we're giving him a golden parachute to be able to say what he wants them to do more. So now what ends up happening is you may have 6 items that is important to the physician, right? Now, this is what we call the pain and pleasure part, right? The pleasure is what made him make a decision to work with them. The pain is what is he currently facing that he wants them to improve on. Now, between those 2, the most important thing you need to go on is the pain, and bring the pain up, because you need to say, hey, doctor, you're facing this with them. This is what we do. We can solve those problems. So whatever they share with you, the 3 things they can improve on, now you actually have a presentation. And now you're not exactly, you're not presenting, how the typical agencies happen. Because the thing is, there's a rule in sales and marketing that whoever talks the most loses.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, and so we have to pay, for some reason, psychologically, people love to talk about themselves. So your job is an interviewer. You're the newscaster trying to get the scoop from this doctor. So that's the way I kind of look at it. So my job is to ask the questions, have him bring it up, and then now I can do my presentation fully. So if the doctor says, we want an agency that has good communication, right? Well, that's the thing. So now we have to look at your company. How can they show that they have good communication? It's not about the 24-hour on-call services, right? It's how good are they with communication? So, this is where now your agency has to have certain flyers. And so this is where we create educational-based marketing materials. Because you once you start doing this, you're going to start hearing from the physicians what are the top 10 stuff, top mistakes, top that, and you should have marketing materials based on that. So, what we do, for example, like for my agencies, is we'll tell a physician, hey, look, doctor, I know communication is important for you. By the way, I have this sheet. It pretty much has all the people in our office that you can talk to directly. If it's about insurance, if you want to speak about medical, you can speak to the supervisor or the DON. If you have some problems with certain things, you can call the administrator. And so we give them the sheet with our logo, pictures of every employee that's going to work in the office, what their titles are, what their extensions are, what their job duties are.
Yeah, so you can go directly to someone.
Exactly. So you can say, hey, doctor, this is how we believe in communication so much, is that we want to be transparent to you. And it's, so that you don't have to call one number and be on hold.
Transferred and do
exactly. We want it fast. So if you have any question, doctor, here it is, right? Mm-hmm. This is the contact, what you need to do. And also, doctor, just let you know, in the bottom right there is our fax machine, and it has to be in big numbers. And then what happens is, and also, doctor, just let you know, if you have any problems, my best way to solve things for you is text message me. And here's my cell phone, and now you have my direct text, my direct cell phone number, so you can text message me or have anybody in your staff text message me. Because that's how we believe in communication.
Yeah, that's good.
So when you can answer that way, instead of answering, we have 24-hour on-call service, that is not communication.
Oh, because what is that 24-hour on-call service? I mean, everybody has it. You have 24 hours.
Well, everyone's supposed to have it, but I guarantee you, 99% of the agencies, they do not answer the calls at night.
It goes to voicemail, I know.
Yeah, it goes to voicemail. So, we have a different service for that. We have our own call center that supports home care and home health agencies now. Mm-hmm. But that's the way to create your presentation. So, when you can do that, so that's that, right? Now, if they ask something, for example, well, we want them to accept all the different insurances. Mm-hmm. Right? Same exact thing. We know that you might get that question. So your home health, what insurances are they taking? Are they taking Medi-Cal? They're taking Medicare?
I don't know exactly which ones they're taking.
Yeah, so perfect. So you should find out what that is. And of course, it's probably different for their for their home health and their hospice.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you need to find that out. And so
I think for hospice, it's just straight Medicare. I think is what
Medi-Cal also pays for it, and certain, and VA as well.
Medi-Cal, yeah.
Because you're in San Diego, so there's a lot of veterans there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
but I think even the VA, and I think Medi-Cal does, but mainly, even if you're like with other insurances, it's just your Medicare. So
Medicare is probably the most important one. So that's the thing. So what's funny, some agencies will like, well, what insurance you bring in? And then they give you, and then it's just the basic typing of Medicare, Medi-Cal, whatever, right? Uh-huh. And once again, it's about presentation. So for our insurance flyer, we put the logo of the companies.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If it's Medicare, we'll put, a large Medicare, lettering, and then the CMS logo, so, so that's what we would kind of do. And if it's like insurances, Blue Cross Blue Shield, don't just write Blue Cross Blue Shield, put their logo.
Oh, yeah, because they recognize.
Those are all, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's for that. But here's the thing: if a doctor or anybody asks, like, what insurance do you guys, do you guys accept? Don't go and be like, well, we only accept. So we're gonna remove the word only.
Right, because you're narrowing.
Yeah, yeah. So so in presentations, in marketing, you have to remove several words: the only and buts.
Right.
Because nothing comes good after a but.
Right.
So you have to replace the word but with an and.
Mm-hmm.
So like, here's a good example, right? So if I talk to somebody and said, I like that painting in your wall, but why did you buy it? So it's like, but why did you buy it, right? It could be it could be taken negatively.
Yeah.
If I say, I like that painting in your wall, and why did you buy it? So now I'm asking for more information.
Right.
Same question, kind of, but removing the negative aspect of things.
Right. Yeah.
So, you want to remove the only off. And when you just tell them what you have. Because don't bring up an objection. Because if you say only, he's going to be like, well, how about this? How about that? You just open a chance for him to ask more questions, right? Because if he doesn't have any objections, now let's say, for example, he's like, okay, well, how about, I don't know, we'll just bring up like Medicare Railroad, right? That's one of those weird insurances. And let's say, for example, you know that you don't accept Medicare Railroad. That's where now we go into the portion of, going past the objections.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got the objection flyer, you probably, you'll see that stuff. It says, these are your potential, this is how you answer a objection during presentation, objection during, follow-up. So if somebody says, I'm like, doctor, other than the fact, right? Other than the fact that, you need Medicare Railroad, is there any other reason that would make you change your mind or would make you want to not work with us?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to distance him from the railroad, and then if he says, well, no, I'm like, well, great. We'll worry about the Medicare Railroad. And besides, that insurance is not as active anyways in this area. But if you have one of those patients, I can take care of that for you because I work with several other companies that I can help you.
Okay.
Right. I'm moving away. Right. It's typical politician pull. Like they bring up a question. I'm like, whatever. Let's move on to the next topic.
Yes.
I'm taking you away from that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the scripts are there. I'm like, and you probably, if you read the scripts, that's.
I did. Most of them were that.
Yeah, so we create those scripts, but that does not mean that you can't change it because you need to kind of make it on your own and make it who you are as a person, right? So like for me wise, I can adjust myself at times and be aggressive or slow down a little bit. So because I've been doing it for a long time and I already know my, what's in my head and what I can put down. Mm-hmm. So that's the presentation that you have to do. It's, can you have something in paper that will answer the potential problem? So, that's literally what you have to do. Now, I'll go ahead and bring up a few of the objection and closing techniques, for example, right? So let's say you get to the part like, hey, doctor, if there are 3 things that the agencies you're working with right now can improve on, right? What would those be? Now, it's impossible that somebody's perfect, that there's nothing wrong.
Right.
Everyone has should be able to improve. And right. So what we would end up doing is if he says, well, there's nothing wrong with them. Oh, that's perfect, doctor. So from a scale of 1 to 10, 0 being really bad and 10 being perfect all the time, how would you rate them? So you see, I went perfect.
You're making him right.
10 being perfect, and he can't say they're perfect. There's nobody there. If somebody says they're perfect, I'm like, doctor, that's amazing. I never heard an agency who's perfect, who's a perfect 10. if he goes there, right? And so, but if he says an 8 out of 10, that's great, doctor. What's going to make it a 10? See,
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find out what's wrong with him.
Right.
So it's always like the goal is a transition,
Uh-huh.
and so, you have to keep on going, because a lot of people, the moment they get an objection from somebody, they stop.
Right.
They just stop. Like, for example, a good objection is, let's say you get an objection when you're walking in. You're walking in cold and be like, hey, I want to be able to talk to the social worker if possible. And they say, we are already working with a home health agency already. Right? So if I say that to you, how would you respond?
I would be like, oh, really? Well, can I still talk to the social worker? I would like to give her a little bit, at least, information on ours to see if we can help.
I'm busy right now.
Okay. Is there a better time for me to come back?
You can leave your brochures and I'll give you a call.
Okay. So I'll leave her the brochures, but then I'll come back. I'll come back.
So you're coming back. So you are going to come back, right? And that's perfectly fine, but it might happen again, right? So the way
The next time I take her something.
Well, you should always have something of a handout, right? So learning the stuff. So if somebody says, you know what, the social worker, we're already working with a home health agency. Hey, perfect. I'm glad the moment I walk in that door, I knew you're already working with a home health agency. Just need a quick 3-minute question. If there are 3 things, what are the 3 things that made you choose to work with those agencies?
Okay. Yeah.
So right there alone, I have you in my face. I'm doing my routine now.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go in. Oh, perfect. Hey, look, that's amazing. And if there are 3 things they can improve on, what would those be? Mike, look, I know you're busy. I just need 3 minutes of your time. I'm gonna bring those things up. So what's happening here? I'm going into I'm on my fact finding. So
right.
They already kicked me out, but if I hit them with those 2 questions, they're gonna answer it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and then I'll say, listen, I know the fact that you're busy right now. I don't want to take much of your time. Thank you for sharing those information with me. Is it okay if I send some information to you and follow up with you? Yeah, sure. What's your email? What's your direct number?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to leave, right? But that's the beauty about that is, fine, they're really busy, whatever, but now I got information. So now I can send emails and say, hey, we talked about this earlier on today. Just wanted to send you, the information how we can help you. So that's where your flyers that you're going to create for each one of those potential objections that they have or needs, you should have it in PDF format. You should have it in printout, So that's the purpose for that, right? So right there alone, that what are 3 things, that made you choose an agency? What are 3 things that they can improve on? You're going to be completely different than everybody else.
Okay.
And now you hit them, right? So once again, any objection, right?
Because now it's not only about you getting the patient, it's just you're trying to improve their.
Yeah. And why you are a perfect fit for them.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so any objection you get is just a way to cut you off and kick you out. And if you let them get to you, you're done, right? If somebody really gets handled by an objection, what's going to end up happening? And then you get objected and you don't gain any information, you lost your time.
Right.
I'd rather get an objection, go a little bit further, gather some information from you, contact information, right? And that's perfect. So if I leave, I'm going to send you some information. But in our follow-up system, when we teach our marketers, the moment that you leave a facility, right, the same day you have to call them.
Okay.
I'm going to give a call. If I got an objection, but he shared with me 3 different things, I'll be like, hey, listen, I truly, truly appreciate that you gave me 3 minutes of your time earlier. I just want to be able to say thank you so much, and I look forward to coming in next week to be able to meet with you. I hope you enjoyed the treats I left you, And by the way, I emailed you, the 3 things that's important for you with an agency. I gave you the information. By the way, next week, when would you want to be able to meet up?
Yeah, you. So
Right?
what if she says, I don't have time?
Hey, listen, perfect. Listen, a person like you working this facility, I'm sure is always busy. And that's why I'm calling at this moment. That's why I'm here. Because the most important thing is you want to work with an agency that's going to be able to handle things for you, which then gives you more time to do things. That's my job here, is to give you more time, to be able to save you those time. So I'm the one call that you're going to make, so, other than the fact, and here you're now, see, you're hearing the stuff that we have in our
Yeah,
thing. Other than the fact that you don't have any time or you're always busy, and if I can help you with that, other than that, is there any other reason why you're not able to meet me next week?
Okay.
Right? I'm like, give me another answer, because that I don't believe in that.
Yeah. Well, usually they're pretty good. I mean,
and that's, and that I'm glad that you said that, right? Because what happens is you go into your presentation and then you go back to the office and like, oh my God, it was such an amazing meeting. They were so nice. We had a chit chat. They said that the next patient that comes in, they're going to give us a call, right? You ever get that feeling, or you hear that? And then you're like, where's the phone call? Like a month later, 2 months later, I just fed them. There's nothing going on, right? And I am more scared of a nice person when I meet them.
Okay.
Because if a person's mean, in my head, you're just a busy person. I'm going to help you. Like, I can convert a negative person, those people that seems negative or mean, I can convert them faster than a kind person, right? They say, I would rather know what you really are about rather than you're indifferent or you're faking it. And those people always fake the happiness. They're like, yes, welcome. I'm happy. Come on in, And sometimes people people have the excuse. They literally want to bring in a meeting just so that they don't have to work.
Oh.
Right? It's the truth. Physicians, for example, have a calendar in their wall on who's going to feed them every day.
Yeah, I know. I have noticed that.
Like, that's why I don't do lunch and learns. I don't believe in it.
You do you said dessert and learn, or snack?
I do dessert and learn. I pretty much let the person tire them out, and I jump in with the sweets and bring them up.
Okay.
So I'm the guy that brings coffee. I'm the guy that brings donuts in the morning. I'm the guy that brings, the desserts in the mid-afternoon, and I bring you your last coffee of the day if possible.
Okay.
So those are, and of course it's cheaper for me.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
Yeah. So that's your presentation. What are the 3 things? Knowing how to handle objections. Like I said, you got a closing sheet, right? We gave you the closing flyers as well. All the different closes are there. And that the one for the closing, you're going to see a lot there that says home care, if it's medical, non-medical, right?
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
And so, because that's just how it is, right? So that happens towards the end of close. You're going to have your, like I said, your greeting, your prospecting greeting, your presentation, and then after your presentation, you have to close the deal, right?
Right.
But the real truth is, all throughout the day, you should be closing. So a good example is, I always start off the day before we sit down. I say, other than you, doctor, or other than you, Mr. Social Worker, is there any other person that needs to be here to make the, to be able to make the decisions? And the reason why we ask that is because sometimes you might end up presenting to somebody that's not the real person.
That's not going to do the referral. That's not the.
Yeah. If I'm at the doctor's office, hey, doctor, look, I know that you put the order in for home health agencies, but once a patient needs home health, who in your staff do you call to call the home health for you?
Is the medical assistant.
Medical assistant, the nurse, the LPN, or just a receptionist, find out. By me finding that out, when I'm done with the doctor, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk out and I'm going to say, let's say her name is Gina. Oh, Gina handles it. Oh, perfect, doctor. Thank you. When I'm walking out, I'll be like, hey, Gina, doctor told me you're the person who's in charge of referring to home health agencies, and I just speak to you for the referrals.
Okay.
I'm seriously gonna just handle it that way. And what can she say? I just had a meeting with a physician, and I'm straight up calling her.
We continue on to the video. Just need to be able to take a few seconds of your time.
This video is brought to you by MedicationReminderProgram.com. Are you trying to look for that one edge up to be able to get you more referrals or to get new referral sources? Well, that's MedicationReminderProgram.com. If you start offering this for your patients and future patients, you're going to be able to show future referral sources that you're doing something different, that you're providing better services than your competition. The Daily Reminder program goes like this. We will call the patients for you twice a day and remind them to take their medications at 9 o'clock in the morning and at 5 p.m. A top reason for hospitalization of seniors is not taking their medications. So what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be giving them comfort of mind, both family and referral sources. So sign up to MedicationReminderProgram.com right now. There's 3 packages available, but at the very same time, right now, with code 50 off, you can actually get 50% off our Gold plan and the Platinum plan. So just stop by MedicationReminderProgram.com and let us help you get more referrals. Let's go back to the video you're currently watching. Out right there and then.
Right.
You know, and then now I know it's you. I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm coming back tomorrow. Do you know what kind of food do you want? Or what desserts do you want? Because now I identified who the target is. Not the physician, it's Gina.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the game you have to play with that. And like I said, don't fixate yourself with learning all the objections or all the closing techniques. Pick 3 or 4 that works well. The 1 to 10 scale always works well. That's one of my favorites. You know, pretty much there's a thing called the referral close. The referral close is after a presentation, after whatever, I always ask a physician, other than you, doctor, do you know anybody else that would want to enjoy our services and work with us? The reason why I do that, because if he says, well, you can talk to Dr. Patel, for example. I'm like, great. So then what I do is I'll call Dr. Patel. Hey, Dr. Patel, Dr. Kim told me that I should speak to you, at the so-and-so clinic. When can I come in? I want to be able to talk to you about our services.
Right.
Right? Because
he's their buddy. And so if Dr. Kim said, call me.
We have a list of what's required, and every time we go in, we're asking these questions. Like, you should have these ready to go, right? What's funny is every time you admit a patient and their family's there, other than your mom, do you know anybody else that might need the services?
Yeah.
When you admit a patient, the agency should be asking that question to every single family member, whoever's the POA. Look, if your mom is 75, 85 needing home care, I know you have an aunt. I know you have your
friends of her.
Mom's friends. I know about all this. I know that your best friend's mom probably needs care as well.
Right.
So, that's where you should learn all the different closing techniques in that, because it runs through. I'm like, when I sit down, I'm like, other than yourself, is there any other person that needs to be here to make the decision to work with to hear our presentation? If the doctor says, well, so-and-so Gina is supposed to hear this, I'm like, well, let's get Gina in. I'm going to start doing that, right? If I'm presenting, we'll just bring it to a non-medical client, for example. Somebody calls it in and say, hey, can you do a free assessment of my mom, for example, if they may need services? You go in there, be like, other than yourself, is there any other person that needs to make the decision financially to take care of the services? Because you might have the beloved daughter who's the caretaker, but the brother who lives in Indiana is the payer.
Yeah, right.
So if you present to this lady, she might not describe it good enough for you to the brother, then he's like, oh, that's just too expensive.
Right.
Right? You see what I'm saying? So
no, I always have that. I always say, whoever, you and are you the only one that's going to make the decision regarding your parents' care, or is there someone else?
Yeah. So that right there is where it's important to know the closing techniques, have your favorites. Now, later on, as you start getting really good at it and know things by heart, we always suggest that we always
have a role.
we always say like change it up. Like for example, for our marketing team, we'll play a game and we'll say, all right, we want you to open with we want you to use the Ben Franklin close. We'll literally tell you what to do. Like we'll play games when they go to the physician, their presentation has to be done that way. And so these guys will play games and like, hey, you know, so when my team talks, they're like, yeah, we did the Benjamin Franklin close and we added with the 3 referrals. And so they call them by names. And then we did a spouse close with the physician. So with the titles, they actually use that. And that's the game that we play is it becomes a game, you know? You know, a good example, and I'll tell you like what kind of games we play sometimes. So like, let's say for example, you know, I have my little gift that I'm going to give them, for example, right? You know, just this is a mouse, but I have a little gift, right? When I go into the counter and I'll put the gift down, most marketers be like, I brought you guys food. And that's what they do. I brought you guys food. Come and talk to me. I don't do that. I'm going to put the food in the counter and I'm going to start talking. I'm like, before, you know, I know the physician's busy right now. And can you kindly tell me, you know, who's in charge, you know, to call a home health agency for referrals when he orders it? I'm going to, you know, because sometimes I don't even care about the physician. I could care less about the physician. I'm going after who's in the office. And what's funny is they're looking at the food. They're like, why hasn't this person given me the food yet? And it's in front of them. And then while I'm talking, I'm going to grab the food every now and then and move it while I'm conversing with them. And what happens is, trust me, you should try it. It's the funniest thing. You actually start watching their eyes following the food. And I will tell you one thing. If you can get them to follow the food, you have more of a 75% chance to close that facility. Because I'll play with it sometimes. And then sometimes I'll even take it away from them, from their eyesights. And they're like, wait, what? And so, you know, yeah. So think about it as this way, right? So we look at it as like, you know, did you ever do psychology classes?
Yeah.
So remember the Pavlov's dog?
Yes.
You know, so if you remember that, you know, he rang a bell, fed them, they salivated.
Right.
Rang a bell, food, salivated. Rang a bell. Yeah. And then eventually, rung a bell, no food, they were salivating.
Right.
So the rule here is you're going to try to create a thing where every week you come in, you're going to have a treat for them and to allow you to present. And if you do that every week, they're going to convert eventually. What we're seeing, you know, what we're seeing here is if you can visit them between the 5th and 7th visit is where you're going to get them to start referring to you. Okay. So the goal is, or 5th or 7th touches. So the goal is to constrict that in a short possible time. So that's because that's relationship building. And so when we do our follow-ups, we're going to do 1 visit a week. Okay. Because I'm going to choose my top 100 who I want. And then I'm going to hit them for the next month. Because for me wise, I can plan my day and visit 25 to 30 places in one day.
Wow.
You know, because we'll use Google Maps. We'll plan it out the week before, make sure the addresses are close to each other, and plan the whole thing out.
Okay.
So then so we save time with our travel. We're not zigzag. Right? And so, you know, and what happens is you go to a doctor's clinic that you're supposed to go see that you had in your list, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, there's more doctor clinics. So then you can just go all over the building and just go door to door. Like, hey, you know, I know the physician's busy right now. Who here chooses, you know, we're gonna always go back in the rhythm of things. Like, oh, Gina, perfect. I just need 2.5. I just need 2.5 to 3 minutes of your time. Right. So I'm gonna give you my routine, right? I walk in, I'm like, hey, look, hey guys, I'm Michael, by the way. I know the physician's busy. You know, I see that, you know, you guys are oncology, whatever, you know, type of physician here. Who's the one that calls home health services? And I have my treat in front of them, right? Because I'm not going to say, I'm not going to ask for attention. You give me attention, I give you a treat. That's the rule. That is the complete, and I have walked out of facilities if they don't give me time with the food. And I will not leave it. You know, that's just the game, right? Like I said, it's a game. The moment that you look at it as it hurts that I get rejected, that's when the problem starts happening. But so once they say it's Tina or Gina, whatever, perfect, Gina, I just need 2.5 to 3 minutes of your time. Now, the reason why I did that is because when somebody's like, has anybody like approached you before, try to sell you anything, and the first thing in your head, you're thinking, when is this person going to leave me? Because he's annoying me,
Right.
right?
Or I don't want that service. Like,
Yeah. So what I'm
have-
going to do is I'm gonna bring up the objection before you bring it up. Meaning, I just told you I just need 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes of your time. So in your head, you're like, oh, he just needs 2.5 minutes. I'll give it to him. The goal here is to keep on getting the next minute and the next minute and the next minute.
Okay.
So it's like, perfect. Hey, listen, I know that you're the one. So you're the person referring to home health agencies. You're the one that calls agencies like ours. Now I'm going to go straight into it. What are the 3 things that made you choose to work with those agencies?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Thank you. And if there are 3 things they can improve on, what would those be? Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then she'll tell me that, right? Now, you said these 3 things are important for you to work with agencies and that made you choose them. This is what we do. So I'm going to mention how we do the stuff that the other agencies are doing that they enjoy, that made them choose, and I'm going to add more stuff to it because that just makes it better. Now, the 3 things that those agencies can improve on, that's an amazing thing and I appreciate you helping me and tell me about those, doctor or Miss Social Worker or Miss MA. This is what we do to make sure that those things are taken care of and handled. Okay. So now I'm like, I have the solution.
Right.
And you can even take it to the
worry about those problems because now you handle those.
You created the solution. Like, this is how we solve those problems. Or you can even make it better. Doctor, if you're, like you said, those 3 things that those agencies can improve on, typically physicians that we work with have said the same exact thing when they used to work with other agencies before they work with us. This is what we showed them that made them enjoy working with us. And then once again, the solution. So it's pretty much, yeah, we heard that before. We know other agents, it's, people will say something like, well, Michael, in a way that's kind of lying. The truth is it's not lying because I guarantee you, if this physician is facing it with certain agencies, the other physicians are facing it also. Right. Just like you said, most home health agencies are doing the same presentation and you're just trying to figure out how can we create a different presentation that generates, better results.
Well, and attention, that's like, oh, you're different. You're unique. Yeah. You're not a typical home health agency.
Exactly. And remember, that's 6 informations that's important, right? So here's the thing. Now you actually have something to give them on a week-by-week basis that you visit. You're going to start off with the 3 negatives, then end with the 3 positives. Okay. Right? Because like I said, people will respond more on moving away from pain, right, than pleasure, right? So the first 3 weeks, because a lot of people are like, well, what am I going to give them every time I visit? I'm like, now you do, because you have the 3 things. Every week, you're going to talk about something about communication. The second week, you're going to talk about something about payments. Now, funny thing is, you already did that presentation to them. You already gave them some flyers about it. But I guarantee you they won't read it no more once you give it to them. So that's why now, by you visiting them every week, you're adding, saying, hey, I don't know if you read through this, but just in case, here's a flyer about that. Okay. Now that right there, creates that. So now you have 6 things for the next 6 weeks. You know what you need to do. And then you bring in something special for them. And like I said, for us, I don't spend more than $5-7 every time I come and visit somebody. Okay. And we try to even make it lesser, right? Because here's the thing: most people will do lunch and learn, spend $50, $100 for that lunch and learn, right? For me, I won't do it, but I'll visit you every week and pretty much end up spending the same amount.
Right.
But what I have now is I'm creating a relationship.
Yeah.
And so that's where the follow-up really exists, and why the follow-up is literally the most important part in sales and marketing. A lot of marketers out there will visit once and they probably won't come back for another month later.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
And Jacob, for example, brought up a good, comparison. He's like, Michael, you ever heard the thing when high school back in days when they used to say, you know, if you like a girl, if you like a guy, call him or her 3 days later after you meet him, right?
No,
But,
that doesn't.
but the thing with that is anybody can jump in within those 3 days and build more value for them to be chosen.
Right.
So that's exactly what it is in marketing, is that why are you going to be like, why wait another month? Why wait another week? Why wait another 2 months to visit them? I'm going to visit you every week, a real live visit. So moving on to follow-up, and because the follow-up is the presentation, like I told you, right? But we're seriously going to, on our cold visit, remember, like I said, by the afternoon time, call every single one of them. Hey, listen, thank you so much for stopping by, for letting me stop by and share some minutes with you. I truly, truly appreciate it. If you do that, you just did something that most agencies are not doing.
Right.
Is calling them the same day and saying, thank you. I truly appreciate it.
Okay.
That right there builds, they're like, oh, that's so nice that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 days later, they get an email of what you get. Hey, when I came over there, we talked about this, and that.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be able to share with you our information. I'll do that by email. My next visit, I start giving him the printouts, because I'm gonna anticipate and think that he's actually not gonna read the attachments.
He's just gonna go just check in. Oh, it's a sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how we take it to the next level. So let's try that right now, okay? So let's yeah, I know, right? So this is literally what we do because a lot of agencies hire us to actually manage their marketing team.
Mm-hmm.
So we get paid to manage the marketing team. So we do this on a weekly basis with all marketers, and we say, all right, guys, let's do it. Practice. I want this. I want that. I want this.
Okay.
So let's just do the basic presentation. You walk in like, all right, tell me about your company.
God, now you're putting me nervous. Okay,
I know I'm putting you into pressure, but it's perfectly fine. Like we're in safe mode. And see, the reason why we're doing this is practice, drilling, and rehearsals, right? We're drilling and rehearsing. And that's what's important here, because if it's still a little bit difficult for you here, you know, you might get stuck when you're in the real field. And then what ends up happening is you end up going back to the old ways of marketing.
Yes, I know.
Right?
So you always start with, hi, doctor, I know that you work with other home health agencies.
Uh-huh.
What are the 3 things that makes you choose those 3 home healths, right?
Perfect. So if I say, I say A, B, C. Okay, go.
And if there was, what are 3 things that, what did you say? What are 3 things that they are not?
Look at that. You just went negative.
Yeah.
See? You see that?
They're not.
Perfect. And this, like I said, look, you went negative. They're not, right?
They're not. I know.
Yeah, right? See? If there are 3 things that they can improve on something to provide better care for your patients and take care of you, what would those be? Right?
Okay.
It is a negative thing, but I'm asking it the better way.
Yeah, if there was, is there anything that they can improve on?
What are the 3 things?
What are the 3 things
that they can improve on to provide better care for your patients and take great care of you? And what you're seeing here is I could have done take care of you and provide great care for your patients. But here's the thing. I don't care about the patients right now. Right now, I care about you, doctor. So take care of the patients and take care of you. See how I did that? Take care of you.
Yeah.
Because I'm really pinpointing on them. Mm-hmm. And when they give you that answer, then you're like, amazing. Then you jump into your presentation.
Okay.
Well, now that I know that, doctor, let me share with you, the 3 things that, those agencies can improve on. If you're just like the other agencies we work with, or if you're just like the other physicians we work with, they also face the same type of problems with the agencies they used to work with. Mm-hmm. And so what we did is, this is what we do to make sure that those things are handled. And now you go into presentation mode.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, you sound really good.
It's okay. So, well, this is through repetition. Uh-huh. It's like, for example, and I'll give you a quick, and I'll give you the truth where I got this from, because nobody trained me to market. Uh-huh. No one was teaching marketing for home health and home care 15 years ago.
Right. Right.
So I actually took real estate classes and sales and marketing for real estate. And, the guy said, listen, ask them, what are 3 things that's going to make you make a decision to buy a house? Because everybody wants to, like, when they do open house, hi, here's the bedroom, here's the bathroom, here's this, here's that. No. When you do an open house, look, I can show you the house, but what are the 3 things that's going to make you make a decision to buy a house at this very moment?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you like a nice view. You know what? Before we even, if they tell me they like a nice view, I'll be like, perfect. Let me show you the view first. Then we'll do a tour of the house.
Yeah.
I'll ask a question of, like, for example, where do you normally hang out in the house? Like, where you live right now, where can we find you all the time? Oh, they'll be like, I'm in the balcony, or I'm in the kitchen. Perfect. Let's go to the kitchen first and talk.
Yeah. Yeah, because then now they're in their comfort zone. That's where they live.
Exactly. And so it's the same exact thing. And so that's what we took, and we converted it into that, and we were getting results with it. Because I'm literally getting the information that makes them make a decision and also drives them away from working with other agencies. And so, hey, doctor.
And what makes them frustrated with even the agency that they work with.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not painful enough for them to want to leave that agency. Because sometimes for us to change, it hurts more to try to change than accept that, where we are. Right. There's that little story about, a salesman walks by a house, and there's this old man sitting in the porch, and right next to the old man was a hound dog. And, every time the hound dog moved, he got up a little bit, he moaned and he yelped, right? And he just stayed there. And then once again, he moans again. He just keeps on moaning. He keeps on moaning. And the salesman's like, what's wrong with your dog? And what he calls him, he says, well, he's sitting on a tack. And he's like, well, why doesn't he move? Because that's just too much work. He's an old dog. So it's like, so when you look at that, a lot of people don't want to move. I mean, like, for example, I have T-Mobile, right? I've had T-Mobile for 8 years. I moved to Florida, and it's literally one of the worst cell phone companies in Florida where I live. It's a dead zone. But I don't want to change because I just got a new iPhone, and I don't want to have to change. It just hurts too much to change. So what I ended up doing, I spent $200 to get a cell phone booster in my house. So I spent more money because that's easier to order from Amazon than me going to T-Mobile and then going to stuff to sing it. Yeah, so it's just, that's just how it works. So knowing that
everybody likes to get out of their comfort zone, even
knowing
if
the psychology of things. Exactly. So thinking about the psychology of things, of decision-making skills, that's where you just have to concentrate on. Hey, doc, what are 3 things that made you choose to work with agencies? And what are 3 things that, if they can improve on something to provide better care for your patients and take great care of you, what would those be? And then, so if you say something like that, right? But here's the thing, watch this. Nothing, they're perfect.
So so what did you say? On a 1 to 10 scale, what would you?
Yeah, hey, doctor, perfect. That's amazing thing. I've never heard of a perfect agency, but I'm glad that you found them. Now, from a rating scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the worst, 10 never making a single mistake in their lives, how would you rate them?
Oh, God. You put it hard on him to not say a 10.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Right.
Like it says in the 9, doctor, it's great to work with a 9 out of 10 agency. What would make them a 10? What's that one problem?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then if he says, well, they're a perfect 10. Wow. First you tell them they're perfect, and now they're a real 10. Amazing, doctor. What made them be a 10? What made it? What made them be a 10?
Right. In his,
because he might actually end up bringing up a few more things other than the first 3 positives that he brought up.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part here is I'm not letting the objection happen. I'm not going to let him control it. I need to keep on moving this along. I need another minute in this appointment. The more minutes I have, right, the better you win.
Right.
And if you paid attention in the beginning, I said I just need 2.5 to 3 minutes of your time. But I know in my life, 2.5, 3 minutes happens while we're just meet and walk into your office.
Right.
So I'm gonna take 15.
Right.
I'm like, oh doc, or Miss Social Worker, it's been 15 minutes already. I truly appreciate it and you sharing with me. Can I stop by next week? I have some treats I want to bring to you guys. And so it's just, once I'm done with the meeting, I'm trying to create my next meeting.
The next visit. Yeah.
Or if not next visit, I'm going to already tell them I'm coming next week. I'm committing myself to coming next week.
Yeah.
And then that's where the game happens of the follow-up. So like I said, if we can visit, like for me, I can visit between 25 to 30 a day. I can literally visit about 100 places in a week, minimum 100 places. And what that does to me, if I visit those 100 places every week for 4 weeks, I can guarantee that you start converting them, some of them already, as you go along.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see that. I mean, by your technique, I can.
And you're actually, if you do the follow-ups, you actually are gonna see it on the 5th to 7th visit on average. The 5th, 6th week, you should start converting if you have the materials, if you have the handouts, if you really are asking the problems and solving it for them. I told social workers like this. I'm like, listen, I don't know if you love your weekends. If you love your weekends, then I wouldn't do this routine. I'll tell social workers, I'm like, listen, on the weekends when you guys had that last minute discharge or, things happen, I'll show up for you and I'll make the copies. They'll save you time. I'll make the copies. And some of them will be like, really? And some of them gets called out. They'll call me. I'll be like, hey, you said you're gonna make copies for me. Come in. I'm like, all right, I'm there. But I can. That's them calling my bluff. And if I can actually show them, and that's how I end up winning even more.
Right.
Because like I said, I want to save you time. Like I told social workers this. I'm like, listen, if you and this is the truth though. I'll be honest with you. This is what I expect of every marketers. If there's a referral, if there's a referral, I tell all the social workers, I'll come to the facility and pick up the referral. You don't even need to fax it to me.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah, and because why we do that is because if they have a discharge, I guarantee they have another discharge somewhere. I'm like, well, since I'm here, do you have any other discharges?
Right.
Right. And then they'll say something like, well, we actually have somebody for tomorrow. Perfect. I'll take them. Do you want me to talk to the family now? I'll call the family. Can I see the chart? Since I'm here already, we can actually check if the patient qualifies for Medicare.
Yeah.
I'm already there. I need to create reasons of me keep on going back into the facility.
Right. And establish the relationship, the friendship with
Yeah.
the people.
And when I get that, and that's the thing also, once again, you got a referral, I'll be there. Why? You give me a referral, here's cheesecake, or here's something big. You give me a referral, now I'm going to give you something bigger, worth $20, $30.
Right.
Right? $5 when you're just giving me time worth of products. You give me a referral, here's $20 worth of food.
Yeah.
So once again, we're doing the Pavlov. That's why we show up. And since I just gave you food, do you guys happen to have any other referrals? Any other people discharging this week that we can start looking into and helping you guys out with? That right there is where it creates it. And that's why if you really follow the follow-up system, the marketing stuff, that's where you're going to win the most. Okay. But the discovery mode, the three positive, 3 negatives, creates the presentation for them. If they hit you with any objection, you know how to handle it. Right? Other than the fact, of the blank, other than the fact that this is what you need, is there any other reason? Because the truth is, there's no just one reason that makes them not want to work with you. There's multiple.
Right.
It's never just one. Yeah. And so if you have that understanding, that right there will help you literally go past. So let's do this again. Tell me about your company.
Wait. Tell me about my company.
Tell me about your
Um,
company.
God, I totally went blank. How would you let me tell you, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Tell me about your company.
Hey, Doc, before I even start to tell you about our company, I just want to say thank you so much for having me here. But before we get started with that, what are the 3 things that made you choose to work with other agencies?
A, B, and C.
Right? Perfect, perfect. Those right there are always a good thing to be able to have with an agency. Now, other than that, if there are 3 things that they can improve on to provide great care for your patients and take great care of you, what would those be?
A, B, and C.
A, B, and C is amazing because actually, doctor, a lot of physicians that we work with tell us that the home health agencies they worked in the past with, those were the problems they were facing as well. Especially, I'll come in my head, B, we'll just say that, right? Especially B. Now, because we know that now and we want to listen to you and we want to listen to them, this is what we created as protocols that allows us to improve there. Can I share it with you? So you don't face any of those problems. So then I go
Or
on.
can you share it with Danielle?
Yeah. So now I build value.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
you sounded perfect.
now I build value. You see?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but like I said, this has been honing for 5-6 years. But if you literally just do that for like, if you're driving, hey doc, and just
I
roll
know.
yourself,
Just be comfortable. Yeah.
you'll be surprised. All of a sudden, you're like, wow, okay, I improved myself. I improved myself. I improved myself. And then that's where, after you have every time you have a meeting, every time you walk in, whether it's a positive return, negative return, or I don't know type of result, when you walk out, you should write notes saying, okay, maybe I could have improved on this. Maybe this right here is needed. Oh, I forgot to use this closing line. Oh, they said they don't have any time. I just freaked out and I forgot to say what I had to say. Like, okay. So you have to analyze yourself so that when you come back again, to another, and what's funny is, and this still happens to me right now. So, every now and then I still market for my agencies, because I want my skills up. And so I can see that in the
Well, and
morning
it
time,
also gives you a view of what
what are the changes?
what are doctors now wanting, right?
And there's some changes. We have started seeing some changes, right? So, so for example, I would see that I really am not as good in the morning than towards the afternoon. And the reason is because I'm literally warming myself up. And towards the afternoon, if I've done it enough repetitions during the day, self-analyze myself and where I'm messing up, through the day, I start getting even better. So I've seen myself.
You're loosening up.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, okay, analyze myself, then you start getting better. But then if you do this in a continuous basis, that it becomes routine. Now, here's the fun part, right? So it's a script. People say, well, Michael, I don't want to sound scripty. A lot of people say that, marketers, I've heard it all. And I start laughing and I'm like, you're giving me an objection now, right? I'm like, listen, you don't want to sound scripty. Let me ask this question. Every word that came out of your mouth, somebody told you that word and you learned that.
Right.
Because you learned that, what ends up happening is you're pretty much talking in a script. That's literally what it is. So I'm giving you what you should say, but you can change it. It's up to you if you want to change it.
Right.
So that's what a script is. It's just, you listen to a song, you listen.
The baseline of what?
Baseline, exactly. Once you know where you need to be at, you can change certain things. And that's just how that goes.
Well, I like that. I like having that baseline because as I get comfortable with that script, then I can put something else in there or, but yeah, no, I like that. I like that, the baseline.
Yeah. And so that's the funny part is when they ask you about your company and you actually went back at them, tell me about what's important for you. People like that because, they want to know about me.
Right. It's not about, let me tell you, my company does this and this. And of course, you're always going to say wonderful things about your company because you're trying to sell it.
Yeah. And they're proud. And you might actually see that from the owner, from the DON and the administrators. They're going to be like, well, our company does this. I'm like, well, it's not what your company does, it's what solutions you can give for the problems that they're facing.
Right. Because everybody wants a problem solver. I mean,
Exactly.
that's what that's why we sell, because we're solving a problem that they're facing either in
Hmm.
the office or at home, or
Yeah.
right.
And sometimes the company may not have the flyers for you, so you might have to be creative and make it your own.
Mhm.
If you want to put, so that's something that you can do. But it's just being proactive, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we even go to the part of, we have, if it's an oncology physician, we actually have a flyer just for oncology physicians.
Okay.
Hey, doctor, look, I know you're in oncology. These are the type of patients that home health can actually service. Here are the diagnosis. Here's how we solve those things.
Okay.
Like, we're really taking it where our flyers that we use is completely different from a cardiologist to a general practitioner to an oncologist, right? So those,
Yeah, because they're all different specialists. Yeah.
yeah, we have a flyer just for the social workers at a nursing home. We have flyers just for the social workers in a hospital,
Mhm.
because you want to speak to their language. And most companies will come in with their pens and their trifold brochures and be like, here's our information about our company.
They're all this. Yeah, and it's all
All the
this.
same. And the reason why I don't believe in trifold brochures is because if you have just one brochure for your company, are you trying to speak to the patient or are you trying to speak to the social worker? Each one of those is different. And that's the funny part, is people think that this brochure is going to work for this particular person. It's just not going to
Yeah.
help. So
Yeah.
we have brochures for patients. We have brochures for the referral sources, because those are two different language
Mhm.
that, that is spoken, right? For patients, this is your problems. This is what we can solve. Doctors, these are your problems and this is what we can solve. And so, and I guarantee you, your company has only one brochure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But that's kind of what I was trying to tell them, that we need to have like kind of like not an outreach program, but kind of like a different type of program that is actually helping them either with placement, or it's not, we're just not doing just the home health thing, that we're helping them with other patients that we're not going to get that, but we're going to help them solve that problem.
yeah, I mean, like, for a good example is that, hey doctor, when they start talking about communication, right? Because that's always the big thing, communication. Hey doctor, just to let you know, we actually started what we call our medication reminder program. Because if you're not aware, patients will only get visited once a week by their nurse, and maybe and a therapist might visit them once a week as well. And so we have a medication reminder program, and we actually have this. This
Hmm.
exists. And with that, one of the number one reasons why patients end up back in the hospital is because it's medication noncompliance. They forget to take their medications. So we actually set up a program where a patient will get a call from our company at 9 o'clock in the morning and at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, reminding them to take their medications. And there's no joke. We actually have a program.
That's good. No, that's good.
So
That's
yeah, so you know, when we say that to a physician, he's like saying, like, what do you, I never heard of that before. Like, exactly. I can tell you, doctor, that, in this area, there's not another agency that does that. And you can even ask the agency you're working with right now. This is how we value our patients. Somebody's going to call them at 9 o'clock, guaranteed, every day, Monday to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're going to get those calls from us twice a day. And if the patient even wants, we can text message them also. So we actually created a program that does this. And so we actually, a lot of agencies, right now we have about, since we launched the company fully, because we've been using it just for my agencies for the past 3 years, and we felt comfortable enough that we can start offering the program to other people. We have about 120 agencies using it now, that signs up for the program. And, some people say, well, if I hire somebody, right, if I hire someone to do this, you're going to pay them $10 an hour, and and then you're going to be paying them, for the whole day for 8 hours. That's $80 a day. In 10 days, that's 800. In 30 days, that's $2,400. The cost for our services is only $10 a patient for the whole month.
Mhm.
So if you have 100 patients, you're only paying $1,000.
Yeah.
But the patient gets called every day. Number one, it looks good for marketing. Number two, your patient don't go to hospital for non-compliance.
Right. Right.
So, what are you doing for that? We tell physicians, hey, doctor, for communication is important for us. So we actually have a 24-hour call center. Some companies say they have 24-hour on-call. We don't believe in on-call. We believe in a call center. So every time there's a phone call, we can answer the patient right away and not just, for them to leave a message and that there's an on-call person. Because those are the two differences. When somebody says, doctor, that they have a 24 hours on call, we actually have a 24-hour call line.
Yeah, that they actually get an actual person on the line.
Yeah. So, bam, changes it right away.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff that we're doing and we're starting to give back to our companies that we consult with are things that we actually believe in and we created ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're doing it ourselves. We did it first, we tried it, and we got people to understand it and they like it. And so we're getting referrals because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm spilling the beans for you what we do. I mean, like, this is how we do. Actually, do I have it here? I don't have it here right now. No, I don't. Okay. So I have. You can purchase this thing on Amazon. It's a doorbell.
Uh-huh.
You can use it for doorbell, but we use it as a call light, for example, right? This is for non-medical. This right here is for non-medical. So it's a wireless button. The patient gets it around their neck, or they can wear it in the wrist, right? Whatever they want to do. And there's 3 receivers. We put it all throughout the house because the caregiver is not going to be at their room all the time. So if the client needs the caregiver, they press the button. It's like a doorbell, it ding dongs, and the caregiver comes.
I actually, to be honest, I do that with patients that have like a huge home where it's not small, where they can actually hear. But yes, I actually got them at Home Depot.
Yeah, they sell in Amazon for $29 for 2 receivers and 3 things. But see, what we do there is every patient gets one automatically.
Yeah, so, see, I don't do that to every patient. I do
exactly. Us, it's automatic. Every patient gets it automatically. And the reason for that, if the patient leaves us, we just take it with us and give it to the next patient. Right. The patient doesn't get to keep it. That's our property.
Right. But it's also a preventative for a fall, and it helps.
All dementia, Alzheimer patients at home, they get a GPS tracker.
Oh, see, I don't do that. That's good though.
They get a GPS tracker just in case they leave the house. We can't find them. It's a bracelet always that they actually have. We get to track them automatically. And that's a sign. And at the very same time, it's also a medical alert button as well. Mm-hmm. So if anything happens, so those are the things that makes us stand out, and that's why we get to charge $29 an hour.
Yeah, but then they look at it like, oh, well, then they have that. My mom's never going to get lost, because if she does, they'll find her right away.
Yeah. Every month, each patient gets a half-hour massage.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Every 2 months, they get mani-pedis.
Oh, see.
Right, but we're looking at that as like, I'm charging $29. This other person's charging $20. I have a $9 extra spread than that person over there. So I'm making a profit of about $12, $13 profit after I pay my aides and all the stuff. So I can make sense of paying somebody this month, $50 to do a massage for my patient at home. Next month, I'm willing to pay $50 for somebody else to pay for their mani-pedi. If you have a dog, free grooming every month. I'll pay the mobile groomer to come in, right? If the dog is the short-haired one, like your pug, for example, they'll just do a basic bath that only costs me $20. Yeah. If they're hairy, needs a cut, $50. But $50 a month loss. A lot of agencies, when we say this,
it's nothing compared to
the profit. That's 3 hours of work to give, right? Fine, but you're getting, you might be getting 160-hour billable hours for that patient this month. Right. What's a 3-hour loss, right?
Nothing. Having a patient happy.
Exactly. Yeah. What can you do that makes you stand out?
Right.
And those are all part of the presentation when you're talking to the physician. Communication,
Mhm.
safety for the patient. We start bringing those up to doctors. They're just like, whoa. I'm like, all right. And what we always do is like, hey, doctor, ask your agencies right now if they do that.
Yeah, and they most likely will the next time they come in.
And
They'll
then,
say,
yeah,
"Do you offer
hey,
this?"
they do this. Do you do that? Like, huh? We can. So that means you're not.
Right, right.
So, but that's the
But then do
basic.
you instill that seed in the doctor to say like, oh, well, let me give them a try.
I'm not trying to be your number one choice. I'm just trying to say, give me the second dibs for now until I can prove you wrong. I tell a
Right.
physician, I'm like, I'm not here to take all your referrals, doctor. I'm not greedy like that. I don't mind being the second choice, but my job is to work hard to become the first choice.
Yeah.
You know, and so so they're like, so when they hear that, they're like, oh, he's not greedy, so he can't say I'm just an aggressive person. I'm like, I don't need all of it, doctor.
Yeah.
And so that right there is a presentation, because that's what you're worried about when you have your presentation. That's your presentation. So anyways, tell me about your company.
Oh my God. Um, now let me practice. I'm gonna have to pay this
That's
again.
perfectly fine. We're gonna have to do this another time. But do you see how it is? Like, we're having conversation. Like,
Yeah.
when my team are together, we're having I'm like, they'll be like, referral close number 1. They have to spit it out really fast. If somebody says, like, spouse close number 2, spit it out really fast, because that's where it is.
Because they have it already memorized.
They have a good idea of it,
Uh-huh.
right? They
Yeah.
have a good form, and if they can spit something that comes up with it, if it comes out within a second or two, they're with it. If it takes like the 10 seconds, then they're not with it. You see what I'm saying? So, and so you might as well have an answer than no answer. So even if they mess up and they forget, if they say another close, it's still good. It's just creating that reflex. I give you an objection, so answer right away. So the objection is like, hey, tell me this, and then that creates the calluses that you're ready. So that's why when you tried it on me, I'm like, okay, I can spit it really fast because I already know, somewhere I may change the word sometimes. It may sound differently, but there's always the three things, and it just goes back. That's just that.
We continue on to the video. Just need to be able to take a few seconds of your time.
This video is brought to you by one of our sponsors, HomeCareAnsweringService.com. So our job here at HomeCareAnsweringService.com is to be able to make sure that you stop missing any calls, because we're going to handle the calls for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year, even during the holidays. So mostly we're going to be doing a lot of your after-hour calls to be able to give you some time to be able to rest rather than staying up or waking up in the middle of the night to answer any phone calls coming in for your home care, your hospice, or your home health agency. It's also going to be able to help you guys reduce the cost. Instead of hiring a full-time receptionist, especially if you are in the beginning process of starting your business, you want to be able to reduce your costs at this very moment. We are HIPAA compliant. Also, when we want to contact you, we can send you messages via text message, via email, or even via leaving a voicemail in your current phone. Another thing is we are just one price service, right? We don't charge anything different for our after hours on our morning hour calls. Also, remember, we are industry specific. We only work with home health, with home care, and hospice agencies. Also, it's a month-to-month program. We don't have any yearly or 2-year contracts. So you just pretty much pay as you go. Now, we have 3 different plans. Typically, most of the people will sign up with our silver plan, which includes 100 minutes a month, which is $99 a month. And any additional minutes after that is just 95 cents. If you are starting your agency, you can start off with the basic plan, which is $39 a month, and you get a instant 20 minutes per month available for you. This is really good if you're just starting off your agency and you're still working a full-time job and you don't want to miss any phone calls. So sign up at this very moment to HomeCareAnsweringService.com and stop missing those calls. That's the way to do it.
So you always say like, oh, well, before I tell you about my company, tell me 3 things that makes you choose this one.
So okay, you see that what happened? Well, just let you know, I'm gonna get a link to this video, and you're gonna have a copy of it.
Okay.
Okay. So you said tell me, um, you have to be like, hey, doctor, thank you so much. Before I tell you stuff about my company, if you don't mind, I'm going to be like, if you don't mind, what are three things? I'm not going to say, because what happens is if you say, tell me, that's a command and you're being aggressive in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? So if you don't mind sharing with me, what are three things that made you choose to work with agencies in the past? And actually, I didn't explain this fully, right? So if you don't mind telling me three things that made you choose to work with agencies in the past, it's actually me planting the seed of saying the agencies you're working with are going to be the past.
Yeah.
So I'm already future tensing things where they're the past. So that's the most important things. Now, here's the big problem that a lot of novices do. They'll be like, they're qualifying so much that they go, hey, doctor, tell me which agency you're working with. Never ask. Never let him bring up the names of the agencies, because that confirms him even more why he should stay.
Well, actually, I have a doctor who hates a certain agency, and he said, don't tell me that you're with this agency because I cannot stand them.
Okay.
Which is a ruling agency here.
And if that ever happens, you go, hey, doctor, what are the three things that made you hate that? See, now you can go negative. I hate that agency. Hey, doctor, tell me what are the three things that made you hate that agency? Because he brought up the hates. He brought up negativity. Henceforth, he's a negative person a little bit. Let's now hit you with a little bit more pain. Right? And that gets you there. So it's really playing with the game, right? And so doctor, are you working with him right now? No, not anymore. If he says that, I know he's working with another agency right now. So the current agency you're working with right now, doctor, if there are three things they can improve on, what would those be?
Okay. Yeah.
No matter what, I get an objection. So just think about it as a flat line, right? Your job is to go from point A to point B. Everybody else, the gatekeepers, the social workers, what they're trying to do is trying to stop you or trying to make you go to a different direction. You have to go back to the line. You're going straight. We are already working with other agency. So you have two choices: go back, right?
Yeah.
Or duck and move. Then you can say, hey, perfect. The moment I walked in that door, I already knew you were already working with another agency. And the reason for that is you're a nursing home, obviously. Now, if you don't mind me sharing with me, what are the three things that made you choose to work with that agency? Would want to know. I'm back again. He stopped me. I'm moving on. I'm gonna go to my destination. My destination is really just to get the information. Buying criteria, paying criteria to move them away. Because that first visit is just the beginning of the courtship that happens.
Yeah.
And that's the winning solution right there. And so if there's a statistic in sales, I forgot the statistics, where they say that most salespeople, 50% of salespeople will not return a second time. So if that ever happens, right there alone, if there's 20 agencies that marketed to that physician, there's only going to be 10 people left for the next visit, because most people quit already.
Right.
And then the number starts going down even worse as you move along with the visits. And like I said, calculation states 7 to 10 touches. They say touches, not visits. This is basic sales marketing. 7 to 10 touches is where the highest results of business happens.
Okay.
But what we're seeing in the home health industry, if you're following up the process, it's 5 to 7.
5 to 7. Okay.
So that's where my I have one marketer. He can do it in 3.
Wow, he's good.
He can do it in 3. One of the best marketers I've ever had. He quit on me because he went to med school. Okay. And I told him, I said, you're making more money than a doctor with me, and you want to go to med school? I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, general practitioners make 175. You're making that number. Why do you want to move? He goes, well, my mom wants me to be a doctor. And I'm like, I'm like, so she's telling you this is not a career? I was like, your car outside is nicer than mine, and you're telling me this is not a career? And so, he just laughs. So he's a young kid. I found him at a Starbucks.
Wow. But he's a
Mhm.
go-getter. He was a
He was
go-getter.
my barista for like a good year and a half. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, this guy's might be good. And I asked him, like, how much you making? He's like, $9 an hour. I was like, I can make it 12.
He had charisma, obviously.
He did.
Yeah.
He had, he didn't mind talking. He had no problem doing that. But that's the thing. It's just, I'm an introvert, 100%. Always been, always was. But eventually, like, you just learn from it and just let it be. Like you seem like a person who's an extrovert. So, it should be easier for you once you have the rhythm and once you actually have, the stuff going on. So, so
I love to get along with people, and I like to chit
good.
chat and things. And
That's
that's why I wanted a baseline, like, so that I can get comfortable, studying it and saying it, and, kind of role playing as well with like my sister or whatever. And that's why I said I'll have to get another lesson, and then hopefully
Yeah.
I'll get a
So
little.
let's do this. You have your thing on Tuesday,
Mhm.
right? What time?
It's at 11.
At 11?
Mhm.
So 11 Tuesday. Let me see here. So 12, 1, 2. So it'll be 2 o'clock my time. Yeah, so okay. So how about this? Let's do a role play on a Monday if you have time. Let's schedule Monday just in case things get busy. Then if not, we'll do something early Tuesday before you walk in.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So do something like that. But the funny thing is, you're gonna be with the DON, so they might take control.
Uh-huh. Well, no,
Right?
they're actually really good, and he's really good. He's the owner, and he's an administrator,
Okay.
and totally trusts the way I handle things. So
Perfect. And if they end up leading, because sometimes administrators, owners like to lead a little bit. They want to be like, I am the owner. It just happens. Trust me, I do it. Right? I used to do it. If that ever happens, let them take control because you don't want to seem like you're trying to kick him out and be like, take control of it. But what I would do is that somewhere in there, if you can jump in without being, a line cutter, just literally just jump in, like, hey, doc, if you don't mind me asking, what are 3 things? Just add those. Just
uh-huh.
kind of push it in there.
Yeah.
Because it just gives you that stuff. So that's pretty much it. And then take it from there.
No,
But
I like your style. I mean, it was very intriguing to me, and that's why I went ahead and purchased and got your number, because I watch a lot of stuff since I started doing this a month ago. I'm like, how do I get out there, because I don't know much. I mean, I do know about home health, but the services they bring, but everybody brings a service, and it's the same line that I'm sure everybody's using.
provide quality care, 24-hour on-call services,
Yeah.
OT, PT, skilled
Yes.
nursing. It's the same exact thing, and I
Right.
love it.
Yeah.
I actually love it. I seriously love it. I'll tell you a quick story. Like,
The new things that are coming in 2020.
the
How
what?
do you the new rules that are coming in with
PDPM?
uh-huh.
I love it.
You think that because a lot of people are saying like, oh, it might not be so profitable, or
Yeah. Let them close their doors.
because you'll be going, right?
Yeah. Let let the purge begin, as I say. Right? It's like when real estate was good, everybody was a realtor.
Right.
Everybody was making money.
Uh-huh.
Then you had the bust in 2008, and the fake realtors
Uh-huh.
came out, end up losing because they really were not there. The ones that won were the guys who knew how to sell, because so that's where it was. And same thing with home health. There's a lot of fakers out there.
Right.
There really are. There's people that are providing some of the worst care ever,
Oh,
but
I know.
they're getting patients. My thing is like, provide, and that's why, yeah, we're trying to build value by saying what we're going to do more than other agencies, but we're doing that because we want to care for the patient. So we're willing to invest and lose money for the patients.
Patient, right?
So, so that's the thing. A lot of them don't want to spend the extra dollars. Every patient of ours if they don't have their own smartphone, we actually provide them basic internet. We have one of those internet boxes that we bring in that's by a cell phone, and they also get a tablet. Why they have that is because they can literally do FaceTime with our team in the office, with our call center.
Yeah,
so every patient gets one of those. If they have a smartphone, then we say, hey, can we install this app here for you? And they can talk to us.
And
so
this is for your home health?
And home care.
Okay.
And home care.
Yeah, we do have so that they'll FaceTime and then talk to their family members as well,
And they can use, and that also is a way. So a lot of patients who don't have these type of materials, they can speak to their family members through this stuff. Right. And so, it just gives them that extra, effective things that we're communicating. But at the same time as we're providing them comfort, because sometimes we'll get a call. I mean, every now and then I'll be on call and I'll get a call from a patient, and they just want to talk to somebody at 3:00 in the morning while they're eating, and so fine. And that's why our call center, does such a good thing, is because they're there to even just have basic conversations if needed, So that's that. What we're doing is what we've done and we continuously do. And the PDGM changes are such an amazing thing because it's gonna kill a lot of agencies. And I'm sorry if an agency is not prepared for PDGM, they've been given the warning since last year. And I see so many agencies trying to catch up just now, attending classes now, thinking that if a company is just attending one of those PDGM classes now for the first time, they're done, because you still have to create all your different things, the changing your policies, creating the template. Everybody needs to be trained in the office. Your team in the field needs to be aware of the certain things that are changing. And if they didn't do that when PDGM sounded the alarm, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just went to the Medicare summit just because I'm just kind of looking, because possibly opening a home health. I love to look at everything. And a lot of people, that's what I heard, a lot of complaints of, oh, well, you're taking away from this and from PT and la, la, la. And so
let me know when you're opening up the home health. I'll help you out with that. There's no problem. We do a lot of openings as well. But that's the thing, is like, learn the stuff. Learn. I mean, like, it's just funny to me sometimes how it is, but just learn. I mean,
well, that's how I'm the type of person that if I'm going to get into something, I'm going to learn and educate myself so that I don't look stupid and unprofessional when I'm out there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just that, you learn from your mistakes, but it's nice enough to learn from people who already made the mistake, so it's not as costly. Right? Yeah. I'm like, how'd you fail? Okay, tell me. Like that's how I am. Like, you failed on something, great. How did you solve it? You didn't solve it, I'm not talking to you. Next person. I'm like, I need the ones who can find the solutions or have an idea of it. But yeah, I mean, it's important. I mean, you have PDGM for your home health agencies, and you have PDPM for the nursing homes. And it just got activated for the nursing homes, and they're starting to have problems. So that's the stuff that's happening at this very moment. And the estimate that I saw when I spoke to a lawyer about 6 months ago, he said that we might lose around 30% of the agencies in the U.S.
Wow.
And I think that's what the government is doing this on purpose, to purposely weed out.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, in Chicago, for example, my one agency over there, we had what they call the PCRs, which was pre-claim review. This was the beta test of PDGM. They only did this in one state, which was Illinois. And we lost about 70 agencies within the matter of a year and a half.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a lot of agencies.
Yep. A lot of agencies closed down.
I guess the
So,
best ones will be standing.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's just, find the changes, work on it. And a lot of agencies are the biggest mistake that agencies make is they want to care for patients and they do not spend money on marketing. Marketing is 100% of your profits.
Right.
An agency that doesn't even have a marketing budget is already losing, because you have to have a marketing budget because you need to know how to allocate.
Yeah.
Like right now, this very moment, we're doing geofencing, for example, and we're winning pretty good. We started doing what we call geofencing. Like I can see, and I'll give you a quick example. Hospital. I'm gonna go to the geofencing software and create a square around the hospital. Whoever enters the hospital for the next 30 days is gonna see our advertising. Hey, look, it looks like that your loved one has, just came from the hospital.
Wow.
So we can pinpoint that. Hey, it looks like, you recently visited a nursing home. It looks like you recently visited a loved one at a nursing home. Now, that marketing might end up go to somebody who doesn't have a loved one, just works there, right? But they won't click that advertising because it doesn't apply to them. But imagine you walk into a hospital and all of a sudden you see an advertising that says, hey, looks like you just visited your loved one at the hospital. These are the 3 things that makes senior citizens end up back in the hospital and causing problems. Click here to find out more.
Yeah, that's
the next 30 days, they get that. And then when they click on that, they go to our website.
How much does that cost to do that?
Typically, the cost is around $8 per mil, per 1,000 potential touches. But not saying that those 1,000 people are the ones there. It's just touching those people, right? It's $8 per mil. The cost for our services is at $1,700 to do that stuff, right? And then you have to, so pretty much the cost somewhere the agencies are around $3,000, right? And so for us, that's what we're doing. We're literally saying we're targeting those, like if you're in a nursing home, that looks like it is. Hey, it looks like that your loved one lives in an assisted living facility. You target assisted living facilities. And all of a sudden, where they go for the next 30 days, they are getting these things. And it's branding. It's only meant for them. And then that's where the beauty of it, because if it does apply to them, they're going to be like, wow, yeah, I did just visit the nursing home. Because that's the question. It looks like you just visited a nursing home. And they see, all of a sudden they turn on their phone, they go to a CNN, they go to, to Amazon, they go play Candy Crush. It's going to show up there. And they see that and they go, wow, yeah, how did they know? And that's what people are saying nowadays, like, they're listening to you. No, we're just tracking you. And you're letting me because you have a smartphone. So we do that, for example, and that's where the marketing starts happening. I mean, especially for home care, Facebook marketing for us is where we get lots of patients. Like Facebook marketing, we'll do something like we'll target only 65 and plus people, or we'll do 55 plus, 65 plus. We'll choose a certain income range because if you make less than $40,000, $45,000, you can't afford home care.
Right.
So we're not even gonna advertise to you. That's a waste of my marketing dollars, right? We'll pinpoint you, blah blah blah, give you an irresistible offer and say, hey, once again, these are the 3 things that causes loved ones to go in the hospital. Would you like to know more? Click here. So when they click there's a video that happens. They get to watch the video training or they get to do the reading, whichever they want to do. But what ends up happening is there's a Facebook pixel that we created. These are little tricky stuff that we do. And then what ends up happening is we tell Facebook, whoever watches this video more than 50% of the video, we want you to show them this next video.
Okay, because they're very interested. Their potential at that point.
Exactly, because if they watched 50% of a video, that means they were a little bit more interested. Something was going on that it did apply to them. Now, it could have been like they clicked it and then they let it be, but most of the time there's something there. So then the next time they scroll through, like, hey, so you were trying to find out how to keep your mom or your loved one away from the hospital. You know, one of the things that we do is this. When we, when we provide care for patients, we actually have a medication reminder program. And by the way, just to let you know, we're giving away only 27 vouchers for a free caregiving service for 1 day. Please send us your information to get the voucher. Voucher is only available if they actually get the service and sign up for at least a month, right? But they want the voucher. We're saying there's 27 vouchers available, but trust me, we've done it where 1 month we gave away all 27, and we've done several months that we ended up giving 100. So, it doesn't really matter. I'm giving everybody a voucher if you're that interested. But now I have your phone number. Now I have your email. Now I'm calling you. Now my call team is like, hey, you gave us your phone number. What's going on? Now we start asking, like, what's going on with your loved one? Who is it? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Tell me what are the 3 things that you're having problems right now that made you want to call us? You see what I did now? Now we're back again to how we do physicians. But now I'm going straight to the problem you're facing because you're calling them. Yeah. So in the end, all our presentations goes the same exact way. And so Facebook marketing for home care, good results. Our spend right now is around $400 something per patient. So if every time we spend like $400, we're picking up about 1 or 2 referrals, potential sources, and you're closing about 1. So we're looking at about 400 something. So we spend somewhere around $10,000 a month for Facebook marketing.
But if you get 1 patient, you make,
I'm willing to spend up to $1,000 to get 1 patient, but if that patient for non-medical private duty ends up with me for 1 month, I already made my money back. But if I get that patient to stay for a year, profit's there, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, you already,
That's why, honestly, I'm to a point that I like non-medical more than home health now, because we can gain more profits in that. It's just crazy. It's just...
It pays good. Yeah, it does pay good.
Yeah. So, there's so many different things that
even long-term insurance, they pay good too, because then the family is like, oh, well, they have long-term, and then we supplement.
Yeah, they're supplement, and then they're about to have the Medicare Advantage plan now that's about to start, paying as well, which looks good, once that really gets approved fully.
Yeah.
And non-medical home care is a lot easier to approve.
Yeah.
California takes 9 months because there's just like too many bureaucracy going on in California for approval.
We actually got ours really quick. We got ours within like 2 months.
It's expensive. It's like $5,600 or for the license, right? It's like $5,000.
$5,700.
I was saying $5,600. I guess it went up by 100. That's a
years.
lot. Illinois was only like $400. Florida, like I'm in Florida, so I have an agency here. I only paid $37.
Oh my God, that's cheap.
For my non-medical? Yeah, I was like $37. Sure, like here's the money, take it. I was like,
California is expensive.
We got ours approved here in Florida 5 years ago, like I think in less than 45 days.
Yeah.
So but yeah, it's good business. Home health and home care is good business, but I like home care because once you get a patient, they stay with you.
Yes, they're in it for the long run.
Yeah, and you just baby them all the way through,
and then you add other services. Like that's how I kind of got into the home health, because they were like, well, who should I choose? And so then I started looking at home health that I thought were efficient, and good, and that did provide good care. And so then that's kind of how I started. And then now my company runs on itself. And so
do you own the home care company?
Yes.
I'm guessing, right? Because the way you talk, I'm like, she owns the company. All right. So, all right. Perfect. So yeah, that's great. So I'm talking to you directly. Do those little things I told you that we do. I'll tell you, like our Chicago home care company, we provide free snow plowing for anything over an inch more of snow.
Oh, that's good.
Right? So we tell the family.
I'm all about giving to patients. And
yeah, but in Chicago, it snows maybe 6 times a year. That's worth plowing the driveway 6 to 7 times, right? I have some guy. I pay him $20 to plow,
Uh-huh.
to do the driveway and all that stuff, right?
See that it's only going to be the 6 times. They say like, oh gosh, great, I don't have to do that for mom.
I have to go about for them, for mom, exactly. And we do that. We salt it. We do that. And so, number one, it's safety precaution.
Right.
And our mind is, yeah, it is safety precaution, but it's also value building, right? So,
Your bill.
yeah, that's why we charge $29. I'm like, I hear some people sometimes say like, well, what if I don't want my mom to get the massage? $29 still. It's just included.
It's part of the.
Exactly. Well, can I save money? Sure, we can worry about saving money, but here's the thing. If you want, you can pay a week in advance and we can take off $1. We'll take off $1 an hour. If you pay a month in advance, we'll take $2 an hour off.
We automatically, they have to pay a month in advance, and we
Oh, good for you.
We prorate it.
Yeah. So we can drop the price, but it's not going to drop that much, And so we'll always start $29 because people say, well, that's over our budget. Like, listen, before your mom needed home care services, this wasn't in your budget. Even $5 an hour over is over your budget, sir.
Right.
Now let me ask this question: what's important for your mom, to have great care, or for you to save on? So we always there's way. So when you start the home care closing techniques, bring that along with your whole presentation. When I have to talk to my wife, I have to talk to my father. If like, what if your father says no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always tell them also, you can start up with not so many hours, but because at least if they get through the day, the hard time, like in the morning getting ready and getting started throughout the day, it's going to prevent them from actually having a fall and fracturing, because then they're already dressed, they're groomed, and or in the evening if that's when they get more tired and they're weaker, because then later on, if you don't start early, then you'll end up paying 24-hour, which is going to cost you more.
Exactly. So, I mean, for your marketing, for your home care, I would, like I said, look into Facebook marketing, see if you can figure it out.
That's the truth, right? They try to save and, oh, no, they don't need. If they end up in the hospital, now you need 24-hour because the doctor's not going to let them go unless you have an agency set.
Yeah. I even have a flyer for that, right? So I have a flyer that can show them what their potential, how much they're going to end up spending. We also have a flyer if they say, well, I just want to hire somebody, myself. Right. And I say, well, okay, that's perfectly fine. But what if they call in? Who's going to replace them? That's why we're here for, because if somebody calls in, we find a replacement for you.
Right.
What if they injure themselves at your mom's house? That's a liability. They can sue you now for certain things. Now you're stuck even more. I'm like, so yeah, you can save in the beginning,
but in the long,
but puts in harm's way and potential. This is what's going to happen for you, especially if this person has to do lifting.
Especially here in the state of California, I don't know if it's over there, but now it doesn't matter if I hire somebody privately. I better be paying taxes for them, and I better have workman's comp for them. It doesn't matter.
That's just California. And then you guys had that weird time and a half law.
Yeah. So we have to charge a lot.
I pay my caregivers good. My caregivers get paid $13 to $15 an hour. Okay.
Yeah.
So they get paid good money because I can charge more, right? Make them happy, whatever.
Better care too. They'll be happy.
I mean, so that's perfectly fine with me. But there's a couple of changes because nowadays I'm competing against Amazon. There's an Amazon, fulfillment center close by here.
Well, what about that new Uber transitioning from hospital to home? Have you heard of that?
And what's that?
Uber now has a transition from home, so they'll pick up the patient, they get the discharge, and they'll go to the pharmacy, get the medication, and then take the patient.
Lyft is doing that as well. I just got in a meeting with Lyft as well, about a few weeks ago. I didn't know about the Uber stuff. That's amazing, but that's fine. They can do that as well. They can definitely do that. I have no problem them doing that, but they're not the one that's caring for them at home.
Right, but then who's gonna manage their medication at home and set it up?
Exactly. And so that's the thing. Is like you really have to start figuring out what you can do to make yourself stand out. And like we have a call center with nurses. our night shift call center, they're all nurses.
You triage them kind of a little bit over
Yeah,
the phone.
we seriously just triage them. And that's the thing. I mean, like for home health agencies, for example, we invested in a software, and I can literally, if I go to that nursing home, I can literally say that nursing home is getting their patient referrals from these 3 hospitals, and they're referring their patients to these 3 home health agencies. Like, I already know when I walk into a nursing home which agencies they're referring to. So I don't even need to know I already know the answers. So before you even walk in,
What software is that?
you work with this company that filters this stuff. Yeah, seriously. And guess what? It only costs like $3,000 a year.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Like, we do the research. Like, we've been doing research. So when we work with companies,
then you can study the other agencies, and then you can come up with the solutions that they're not.
No, this is how good it is. Let me explain to you how good it is. So if an agency,
you have to tell me the name.
no, we actually we have a connect with Medicare.
Uh-huh.
They're supposed to give away all of these information for free.
Uh-huh.
I hired this one kid to create, and so what it is, you just put all the information that Medicare releases, and
Uh-huh.
and these are like hundreds of thousands of pages, and it's an Excel spreadsheet. I mean, you can download it, but it's hard to understand, how does it relate to each other? When you upload this to the software that he put together, it literally just
Deciphers everything.
It deciphers everything. So what ends up happening is we'll be like, all right, we want to go to that nursing home. We can find out which doctors, which home health agencies they're referring to. Once we know which home health agencies they're referring to, we can pull up their information, their star ratings, their readmission rates, their all that stuff, right? So then when we go into the nursing home to add value, like, hey, listen, I know that you've referred this much amount of patients to this nursing home, this home health, this much amount of patients to this, blah, blah, blah. These are your top 3, right? And I was wondering if I can share with you guys, what makes us different, and I'll show them ours, and I'll be like, our readmission rate's a lot better, so it makes you look good from the hospital. And
right.
When we start translating it, and and a lot of them will be like, how the heck did you get that? And when we go to physicians, and say, hey, doc, we know that you're referring to these 3 home health agencies. By the way, I also got your report about your stuff and where you can improve yourself as well. Do you want me to share information with you about, where are certain things? And he'll be like, and a lot of times, maybe 1 out of 10, a physician will say, yeah, I actually want to see my results. Where am I lacking? Where am I having problems?
Right.
Well, I think you're having problems here, right? And so when we show that to physicians, they're in shock. Like, who I'm referring to? How do you know that? Medicare gives it to me, doc. I mean, if you even want, doctor, I can tell you how many drug reps came in here and how much they spent on you. It's free information. But the thing, though, is it's so much information that can you translate it? So I paid some kid in India, he's like a math whiz, to put a software together to just analyze it. So when we manage marketing teams, we tell them, okay, before we start marketing, who are your targets? We choose your top 150, and then we literally print out all the reports for you. And I'm like, so now you're ready to go each one and attack them. And we'll even say, all right, don't go after that doctor because he's only referring to 1 home health agency. And that means he's preferred them, and that's a waste of time. It's a lot harder to convert. Let's go to the next one. Like, we can literally say, in your area, which physician has referred the most home health patients in your area?
You know who you should go.
We know who's the top doctor. We know which nursing home has the most patients that goes home. Like, we can even go into a hospital and know which home health agencies the hospital is referring to. We know how many Medicare patients they've referred out. Like, we can literally say, we can go to a hospital and say, hey, listen, guys, from looking at your at your reports, your readmission rates is at 20%. And the reason for that is you have 100 patients, we'll just say 100 patients that got referred to home health, but only 32 of them received the care. So that means something's happening to that 60 something percent or 60 patients that needs to be followed up.
Yeah, because a lot of the times patients fall in the cracks.
And they don't know that. And so
Right. They don't know that. Doctors do that. Yeah.
Exactly. It's all, see, the thing though is most agencies, number one, they don't train their staff how to market. Number two, they don't believe in data. Data right there, if you know how to read it, it's some of the best information that you can ever get. And so that's why they call it data mining. Like that was, the guy was a math whiz. He was good at math, not a math whiz. He was good at math, and he specialized in computer science in data mining. And so he knew how to create a software just to read this stuff, And so that's it. So like we literally know. So when we go to a city, if we're with a company, we can say we know which doctor to go after. We know.
Yeah, and you also know like, oh, okay, I can open a home health or whatever is there, right?
Like if I was to open up a home health right now, I'll go to Tennessee. If I had the choice, looking at reports, I would go to Tennessee. Less competition, and I know we can pretty much beat all of them pretty fast if we ever open up one there. I would open one in Montana. I would open one in Tennessee. I would open one up in what do you call this thing? South Dakota. I would open one in what do you call this thing? What was the one city we were looking at? What was that? Not in, it was in Arizona, but in the Glendale area. So we're seeing a lot there. That's where we would open up a home care company.
There isn't that much.
There's some, but not in that area. And there's a lot of rich people in that area. So, but yeah, there's just, by us just looking at the data tells us how we can even be better. Oh, by the way, so tell me about your company again.
So, I am going to study that.
I know. I'm just breaking. I'm just literally saying like I said, this is how we do it. It's like when you're in this field that we're in, like we'll have conversation. We're like, hey, snap back, like
Said, okay, doctor, thank you for taking the time with me. But at first, if you don't mind me asking,
there you go.
What are the 3 things that you like about the agency that you use now? Is that what you said?
What are the 3 things that made you want to, made you choose to work with the agency in the past?
Yeah, in the past, that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, you'll get it. You really will get it. You'll be perfectly fine. You're gonna get it. It's gonna happen. And
yeah, I'll get it. I'm gonna study it, and I'm gonna listen to it, and I'll get it.
Yeah, so if there's anything else, let's just plan something on Monday.
Okay.
And then, let me know, like when this weekend's over, let me know, hey, Michael, I really can do it. I can do it Monday. All you need to do is give me a good 3-hour advance. Mondays are my off days anyways.
How about I text you on Sunday? So
Yeah,
I'll know more.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll do that. And then, so just practice.
What is your rate for like another session?
I'll do it for free.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm off Monday, so I can do it. So, this is the thing. It's like, I love doing one-on-one sessions, especially like right now, for example, I'm always free at nighttime because, so that's why when you said 6, I was like, oh, perfect. I'll be home by then already. So
you're done with your day. Yeah, me too. That's why I was like,
well, no, as you can see my blue background, it's video making time. So, after this, I'm making some videos and, so, cause I teach nursing as well. So I'm a nursing instructor. Yeah. So we used to own a nursing school, an LPN program.
So do you offer, the CEUs like to some of the nursing homes for their staff and things like that, or no? I know of an agency
We don't. So California is weird about the CEUs.
Yes.
So I don't do that stuff because then also it's like technically if I offer CEUs, you're supposed to have a fair market value. So if you give free CEUs, that's like, you know, that's
Okay.
like stuff. So I used to be approved for the state of Illinois, which allowed us to also provide CEUs in California because we actually had our CEU license. It was $500 a year, but I was very, very. That was my idea. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna give free CEUs so that they, But then when I started reading, this was like about 12 years ago, and that's when I read about the Stark's Law. And I was like, I don't want to give anything of monetary value like that. So for free, so I stopped doing. I even stopped. I used to do CPR classes for free.
Oh wow.
Right? Because in my head, a CPR card only cost me $2. So it's not a lot of money. But then when I read the fine line that says it's not how much you purchase, but what is the fair market value. And so the fair market value of a CPR card is $50. So then that took me over the limit of what I should do. So we stopped that as well, But like I have caregiver certification, online caregiver certification.com. That's another one of my companies. So a lot of home care companies who don't have a proper onboarding for their caregivers, they can make them watch the whole training with skills, and then there's a test, and so that they can say that we provided training for our caregivers.
Because there's a certain amount of training.
Yeah, so we have that program. So so like it's like $19 per caregiver. So instead of like when you hire a new caregiver, you do one-on-one with them and you spend 3 hours. That's money that you're losing, right? So so yeah, we launched that about 2 years ago. We've gone through about 3,000 caregivers now that's went through the program.
Oh, that's good.
Good. And some agencies will use it every year. So that's
Yeah, you sign it off that they got their year training that we have to have for them.
Yeah, so I mean that's because I come from an education company, so we used to own an LPN program, and then we were teaching CNAs, phlebotomy, EKGs, and EKG technicians and stuff like that. So everything lined up in our companies that we were doing. So we wanted to give them jobs, and we also trained them. So so I've done education for a long time, so that's kind of allowed me to at least be a little bit better on things. So but yeah, I mean we'll do Monday, text message me Sunday, and then let's just.
And now I won't have so much trouble getting this on.
No problem. All right, perfect. So if there's anything else, let me know, and then if not, we'll talk Monday. Okay,
sounds good.
All right,
thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Hey everyone, we want to be able to invite you to our 10xpatientreferrals.com, where we have our online home health marketing academy that's going to be able to help either a home health, home care, or hospice agency increase referrals, increase their census, and create a profitable company. Now, at this very moment, you're going to have access to these information through these training, marketing to physicians, how to get to hospitals, how to be able to get into nursing homes, and much, much more at a month-to-month basis with no contracts needed. It's just month to month. Now, guess what? We are offering you guys for a limited time 50% off any one of our plans. Just choose which one is going to be able to work better for you. So just stop by the 10xpatientreferrals.com at any given moment. So these are the plans that are available, whether it's the gold, the silver, or the platinum plan. Most people go for the gold plan, but it's up to you what's going to work for you. We definitely want to be able to have you come in and work with us. So here's two choices. Go to 10xpatientreferrals.com or click the link down below. Take advantage of this right now at this very moment and sign up with us. Before we continue on to the video, just need to be able to take a few seconds of your time. And so we want to be able to ask you a question. Are you looking to gain more referrals for your agency, your home health, your home care, your hospice agency? We want you to be able to join us at our online marketing bootcamp that has over 7.5 hours of training. When you actually watch our bootcamp and join our online marketing bootcamp training, you're going to get a free month access to our 10xpatientreferrals.com. So sign up for a limited time at 10xpatientreferrals.com. homehealthmarketingboootcamp.com and enjoy all the content. So let's go ahead and get back to the video that you're currently watching.